Zilcksound.
You're tuned into Zilcksound, where business gets real, trends get broken down, and you walk away sharper than when you hit play. Brought to you by Zilck.com. Practical news for the modern entrepreneur. Now, here's your host, Rob Henley.
Welcome back to Zilcksound. I'm Rob Henley. This is our second episode, What the Gurus Got Right. And tonight I want to talk about some books. You know the ones that promise to change how we work, how we earn, how we think about time and money and leverage. The ones with the orange covers, the loud titles, and forewords written by other people with loud books. I've read them. You've read them. Some of us built entire business strategies around them. And I'll be honest with you, most of it was not what we needed. It was what we wanted to hear dressed up in data. But here's the thing, I don't think it was all worthless. I think there was a real idea buried in each one, at least one insight that holds up over time. The rest was context, luck, and survivorship, bias, and bulleted lists. So tonight, I'm breaking apart three of them just a little. I'll give you the 1% worth keeping, and I'll tell you to set the rest aside. So stay with me. First, The 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss, 2007, the book that convinced a generation of online entrepreneurs that the goal wasn't to build a business, it was to build a system that runs without you. The lifestyle design piece, the mini retirements, the idea that you could be sipping a drink on a beach in the Caribbean while your automated empire carried on, that was the marketing. And it worked beautifully. The book sold millions of copies to people exhausted by their jobs and desperately seeking permission to do something different. Here's what that part actually was: a dream with enough detail to feel like a real plan. The arbitrage strategies were real in 2007. The outsourcing economics were real for a specific kind of product at a specific margin in a specific market window. The people who replicated his results weren't following a playbook. They were riding the same conditions he rode, and most of them don't write books about it. And I write, of course. So the team at Zilck writes, but here's the 1% worth keeping, and it's genuinely worth keeping. Most of what you're doing doesn't need to be done by you. I know it's not the lifestyle design version, not the hire a virtual assistant for $4 an hour version. The real version, the honest audit of how you spend your working hours and how much of it is actual leverage versus showing off you're busy. Ferriss called it the 80-20 rule of tasks. Most founders nod at that concept and then never actually do the math. The insight isn't that you should work 4 hours a week. It's that if you tracked your time, honestly, in your heart of hearts, you'd find that roughly 20% of your effort produces 80% of your results, and the rest is just you getting comfortable. And that's the thing. Do that audit. Do it once, actually do it, throw out the rest. Next, The $100 Startup, Chris Guillebeau, 2012. The premise: you don't need a business plan, you don't need funding, you don't need permission, you need a skill, a person who will pay for it, and a way to exchange value. Start small, stay lean, build something real. This one was more grounded than Ferriss. The case studies were real people with real businesses, modest, sustainable, conventional. A woman who taught calligraphy workshops, a guy who built custom bicycle tours, not Silicon Valley moonshots, not passive income, just here's a thing I know how to do, here's a person who needs it, here are the $100 I spent to connect the two. I respect that framing, I still do, but here's where it quietly misleads you. It optimizes for starting but doesn't adequately prepare you to stay. The $100 entry point is real. What comes after it, the retention problem, the pricing evolution, the moment when your one-person consultancy hits a problem that a $100 launch budget cannot solve, that's not in the book. Because that's not the book's job. The book's job is to remove the excuse of not starting. And it does that really well. The problem is that people treat starting is easy as a complete philosophy of building. My 1% worth keeping, sell before you build. Guillebeau calls it convergence, the overlap between what you do well, what others will pay for, and what you actually want to spend your time on. But the actionable core is simpler than that. Before you build the product, the course, the service, the tool, find out if someone will pay for it. Do not survey them. Don't ask if they're interested. Ask them to pay. The answer to that question tells you more than 6 months of market research for real. Pre-sell the thing. Validate with money, not with enthusiasm. Next one is the niche down gospel. This one doesn't have a single book. It has 1,000 of them, 1 million podcast episodes, and approximately every marketing consultant who has billed an hour in the past decade. You need to niche down. Niche down until it hurts. Niche down until your audience is so specific you could describe them in one sentence. For example, I help mid-career female accountants in the Southeast who want to start a bookkeeping consultancy and also enjoy hiking. That specific, that narrow, that crazy. However, the logic is real. Specificity builds trust, reduces competition, and improves conversion. When you speak to everyone, you reach no one. Fine, true. But here's what the niche down gospel starts to fall apart. The people who niched down successfully already had enough volume to niche into. They had an audience or a product or enough market feedback to know which slice of the pie was theirs. They didn't start narrow, they refined narrow. When you tell a brand new founder with 0 customers to niche down first, you're asking them to make a laser focused cut before they've touched the material. But why? They don't know enough yet. The niche should emerge from a real signal, not declared in advance to look confident on a website. And so here's the 1% worth keeping. Specificity in your language, not necessarily in your audience. You don't have to serve only one type of person, but you do have to talk like you understand one type of person deeply. The way you describe the problem, the pain, the gap, that precision in language is what builds a real connection. It shows I've been where you are. I know what this actually feels like. Been there, done that. You can expand who you serve over time. You cannot fake the language of someone who genuinely understands the problem. Get specific in how you speak. Let the audience define itself over time. Throw out the rest. And here's the thing about all 3 books. The authors weren't frauds, not at all. They are successful and accomplished people admired by millions, including me. However, the frameworks weren't invented. Each one of them found something that worked for them in their context, at their moment in the market, and then built a model around it. And I think that's the job of a business book I'd like to write. I love the incentive, but we are not them. Our market window is not theirs. Our resources, my timing, or your specific combination of skills and constraints, none of it fits onto a playbook written by someone in different circumstances years ago on a totally different internet era. The frameworks will keep coming. There will always be a new one, a new metaphor for leverage, a new system for prioritization, a new morning routine from someone who sold their company for 8 figures and now wants to tell you how they did it. Read them if you want. I still do. But read them like a surgeon reads a case study, looking for the one principle that stands out in transfers, prepared to leave the rest on the page. I go like this: 1 insight per book. That's the honest yield. Everything else is context-dependent luck dressed in bullet points. Finally, I hope I didn't convert you to read less. On the contrary, I always think people should read even more, but let's do it more strategically. By reading more, we can be more creative and have better ideas, which AI can't easily replicate, and that alone is leverage. Okay, that's everything I got for you today. I'll be back here at the desk very soon, and I hope you join us from wherever you are at your own pace. Be sure to subscribe for more episodes, and thanks for listening, and stay tuned with Zilcksound.
Zilcksound. Zilcksound.